Hello, Namaskar and Adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan, once more with you from your very own channel Astro Assurance. We have been looking in depth in the D9 or the Navmansh or the Navamsa chart, and we have been looking at a lot of placements of the Lagna lot of D9 in different houses and the relationship of the D9 Lagna lots placement in the D1 chart, the D1 Lagna lots placement in the D9 chart, Atma Karakas placement, Amatya Karakas placement, and so on. One of the series that we are also doing is the placement of planets in the D9 chart in the Navmansh chart. And in that series, we have already done the placement of Rahu in the different houses in the D9 chart, the placement of Moon in the different houses in the D9 chart. Today we will be talking about a very important placement, which is that of the planet Saturn in the 12 houses of the D9 chart. What's its denotation? What is its meaning? Now we know that the D1 chart, the Lagna chart, is a chart of possibilities, whereas the D9 chart is the chart of probabilities. And so the placement of planets, especially malefics, that too like Saturn, becomes very important in the D9 chart. Its manifestation becomes very important. The probable results that we can look forward to become very important. So let's jump right into it, understanding the placement of Saturn in the 12 different houses in the D9 chart in the Navmansh chart. So firstly, what is the meaning of Saturn when it goes into the D9 chart in the Navmansh chart? For that, firstly we need to understand that Saturn means respecting rules, respecting authority, respecting seniority, customs, traditions, boundaries. It also means to have an organized effort, to have a committed effort, to have a disciplined effort, to work hard within a structure, to serve. And also it is the planet of the masses, the destitute. So when Saturn goes into the first house in the Navmansh chart, the first house of the Navmansh is all that you attain through your self-effort. And through your self-effort, what kind of probabilities the Navmansh chart is giving you to be able to achieve name, fame, recognition, standing in society as well. So when Saturn goes into the first house, it shows you, or it tells you, or it makes a higher probability that your self-effort will give you higher success, good stature in society, a good standing in society, a lot of respect also, maybe even adulation, but basis how you use your Saturn's energy if Saturn is in the first house, which means to be very dedicated to do something larger beyond yourself in a serving medium, to serve the masses, to do something for the people who are right down to the bottom of the pits. And only when you do that through self-effort, through sustained and dignified committed effort, respecting boundaries, respecting seniority, respecting experience, only then will the Navmansh, the zodiac, will make it higher probable for you to be able to get success, but with a lot of patience, with a lot of perseverance, and only when you have a ability to be able to do more for others, a serving approach to life, a servitude approach to life. And hence Saturn in the first house in the Navmansh also says, if you do that, then once the stability is given to you, that position is given to you in life, that status, that dignity is given to you in life, this may be for a long time. It will not be easily taken away from you. Saturn being placed in the second house. The second house in the Navmansh chart is the house of nourishment. What you nourish and what nourishes you back, what you support and what supports you back, and all that is brought about by your own effort and actions, especially connected to your principles, your values, and how you carry yourself using those values and principles. So when Saturn goes into the second house, so here Saturn is also a planet of principles and values by virtue of respecting authority, by respecting customs, traditions, boundaries, structure, all that comes from your principles and values also. So when Saturn goes into the second house, firstly Saturn asks you to nourish others more than yourself, to have a serving attitude even in nourishment of others and nourishment of the extended community, extended society, extended masses should come before you. So only when you do that, Saturn will give you back, Saturn will also nourish you back, Saturn will also help your nourishment, and the support that you will get from Saturn will not only be for yourself but also of your family, of those people who are near and dear to you, who are your dependents. So as long as you follow customs, traditions, respect seniors, and through very organized effort, through very committed effort, through very structured, disciplined effort, that you not only get your own nourishment but with an approach to nourish others, help others, support others, then Saturn will give you the stability. And once Saturn gives you the stability in your income, your remuneration, your nourishment that Saturn gives you, then it will be stable nourishment, nothing will be easily taken away from you. However, this is more related to Saturn being in a good dignity, in a friendly sign that Saturn promises you. On the other hand, if Saturn goes into a bad dignity, into a inimical sign, or even if it's in its debilitation sign, then there will be more challenges both in acquiring the nourishment and to be sticking by your principles and values. It won't be easy. The climb will be uphill, the climb will be tough, and you'll have to work harder to not only nourish yourself but also to seek nourishment from the zodiac. Now when Saturn goes into the third house in the Navmansh chart, in the D9 chart, the third house is about how you have a ability to influence others. What is your influencing capacity? How will you be able to reach out to others and influence others through what you have to say, what you have to communicate, what is that you have to be able to give to others in terms of your own capabilities, your own competence also, and through that you are able to influence others, or you are able to influence others through what you have to say, your communication skills also, and your effort, how much of an effort you are able to put in. So when Saturn goes into the third house in the Navmansh chart, in the D9 chart, it tells you that influencing others will not be easy. If you have to influence others, if you have to be able to reach out to others, communicate to others, want them to be able to understand you, hear you, act on what you want them to act on, and through your efforts you want to get results, then you will have to follow rules, conventions, values, principles through an organized effort, through a disciplined, hard working approach. And you will also have to respect seniors, seniority. Only when you do that, then Saturn will be ready to give you a higher probability of higher success through your own efforts and through your ability to be able to influence others. And people will then listen to you, follow you when you put in that organized effort through your commitment, your loyalty, and also through your patience, your perseverance, but following the rules and regulations, following your principles and values. If Saturn goes in a friendly sign, good for you. Saturn will be giving you high stability to, once you attain that place where you are listened to, where people are ready to listen to you, Saturn will give you that strong ability to influence others, whether through social media or through your communication or even emails. Saturn goes into an inimical sign, then it will be that much more difficult for you to sustain, continuing to put in the effort to sustain your ability to influence others and to be able to sustain through your self effort to be able to achieve more in life. When Saturn goes into the fourth house of the D9 chart, the Navmansh chart, what does this say? The D9 chart's fourth house is about what you are ready to protect, what you are ready to care for. So what you protect and care for, and what in turn protects you and cares for you, is what the fourth house represents. So when Saturn goes into the fourth house, Saturn tells you that protecting what you want or what you like or what you care for will not come easy without sticking to your principles and values and being very committed, very loyal to traditions, to rules, to customs, to senior people, seeking the advice of senior people, those people who know more than you, who are more experienced than you, who have seen more life than you. And only when you are able to help others with a serving attitude towards your family, towards your domestic life, and old people who are in your family, who are connected to your family in some way or the other, serving them, listening to the advice, taking them along, and being very, very patient towards your family, very, very patient towards your domestic responsibilities. Then Saturn will respect your needs, your desire to protect, to care for your family, your dependents, and to protect your home, your domestic turf, and Saturn will give you the stability in that. However, if Saturn is in a bad dignity, Saturn is in a bad dosha or in an inimical sign or debilitated, then it will be that much more harder for you to be able to protect your home, your assets, your family, your well-being, your harmony, your peace, your happiness in the household. So there will be more challenges where Saturn goes into bad dignity in the 4th house. Now when Saturn goes into the 5th house in the Navmansh chart, in the D9 chart, what is this about? The 5th house of the D9 chart is about how much self-aware are you? What is your awareness about your own self, your awareness about your previous karma also, and how you are able to get a lot of power, influence, authority through your awareness, through your education, through your ability, through your competence, through your knowledge. And hence this is also a strong placement of people who are very artistic, who want to do something in the realm of arts or something that is of interest to them, something that they love to do, they desire to do, they want to do, and through that you get your power, your influence. So the more aware you are, the more competent you are in your skills, in your arts, in your endeavors, Saturn pays you back more. Saturn gives you back more. And so Saturn is also protective of the 5th house. Saturn to an extent is protective of your romances, is protective of your children also. However, if Saturn goes into a bad dignity, Saturn goes to into an inimical sign, then that much more challenges you may be able to face to be able to do what you like to do, to follow your hobbies, to be able to do something artistic, to be able to protect your family, especially your children, your offspring, and even your work, your output, which is also your baby, that is also your production. So Saturn will then make it more harder to be able to climb the ladder of success, the ladder of adulation, the ladder of excellence in the area of your work. If Saturn goes into the 6th house in the Navmansh chart, in the D9 chart, what does Saturn say here? 6th house is about the house of challenges, issues, but also pain, the suffering that you have to go through. And because of this, many times when Saturn goes into the 6th house, it tells you that unless you understand the pain of others, feel the pain of others, reach out to those who are in pain, I will not allow the pain and suffering to go from your life. Remember, Saturn is the Karaka of the Dusthana. So Saturn says, I am ready to alleviate your pain, to reduce your infliction, to reduce the sorrow that I bring to you, but only when you understand other people's pain and only when you are ready to serve others who are themselves going through challenges and issues in life. So it is your responsibility, and one of your main responsibilities is to do more for others, to serve. It is not only about serving family that you are here, but you are also here to serve those who are bottom of the ladder. So if you do that, if you take kasht for them, you take pain for them, you reach out to those who are in pain, then Saturn will give you more stability to be able to overcome pain, to be able to overcome sicknesses, challenges, and even inimical forces. But if Saturn itself goes in an inimical sign in the 6th house, then that much more challenges may come to you, that much more pain may come to you, obstacles, issues may also come to you. If Saturn goes into the 7th house of the D9 chart, of the Navmansh chart, the 7th house is specifically related to partnership in the D9 chart, in the Navmansh chart, but it is also about connections. The D9 chart is about connections. In every house, what connections you make with others will be of essence. So when Saturn goes into the 7th house in the Navmansh chart, it tells you that in your marriage you will have to serve, you will also have to share the burden, you will also have to be more responsible, you will also have to follow traditions, not stepping outside the boundaries of marriage, not getting into attraction with outsiders, not allowing outsiders to unnecessarily influence each other or the household, the peace of the household, to be disciplined in your approach to each other, to be very committed, loyal to each other, and to work hard to keep the relationship going, working hard to keep the structure going and serving with each other. If you are able to do that, then Saturn will sustain your relationship, sustain your marriage, sustain your partnership, and Saturn will give you much stability later on when you are ready to put the hard work, when you are ready to bend the back. But if Saturn is in a bad dignity, Saturn is in a bad dosha, in a bad conjunction, or Saturn itself is in debilitation in the 7th house, then there will be more challenges to you, and it won't be easy for you to keep the stability in the marriage, to keep the relationship intact. Even if the stability is there, the happiness, the peace that comes from the marriage will be going through ups and downs every now and then, and you'll have to work harder to be able to sustain the relationship, sustain the union. Now when Saturn goes into the 8th house in the Navmansh chart, in the D9 chart, the 8th house of the D9 chart is all about the problems, the issues that come up suddenly, and more so the obstacles which are brought to you to be able to attain, to be able to achieve things, to be able to get things that you want in life without going through those obstacles. So 8th house will throw up those obstacles, 8th house will throw up those problems, will throw up those debts, those loans that will trouble you every now and then, will challenge you every now and then. And these loans and debts may not only be related to money or finances, but this is also related to favors that you have taken in this innings and also maybe from earlier. So the 8th house is all about letting go of those debts, letting go of those loans, not wanting to get into those, letting go of the karmic debt that you are carrying. And you will be able to do that only when you are ready to serve, when you are ready to do more for others, through a very organized, structured effort, respecting boundaries of society, respecting needs of others, respecting seniors, and listening to the advice of seniors, the more experienced people, when you are going through a challenges, when you are going through the problems, because they have seen more than you, maybe they have gone through the same problem, the same issues. If you are able to do that, then Saturn will keep you stable, Saturn will help you, Saturn will protect you. But if Saturn goes to an inimical sign, Saturn goes into a dosha, Saturn gets debilitated or in tough conjunction, then Saturn will make you work harder to be able to overcome the challenges which suddenly come up in life, and those problems and challenges that the zodiac throws at you every now and then. When Saturn goes into the 9th house in the D9 chart, in the Navmansh chart, the 9th house is about what are your learning sources, from whom are you learning, from whom are you acquiring the experiences, what is the higher learning that you are ready to imbibe through those experiences that the zodiac throws at you, many of which could also come from the 6th house or from the 8th house that the zodiac will throw at you. And because the probability of the Navmansh giving you certain results is higher, so where are you ready to put your ear to listen to, imbibe the learning, imbibe this experience from? So are you ready to learn and to listen to your gurus? Are you ready to learn from the experiences that life throws at you? Are you ready to learn from seniors in the family, including your father? If you are ready to walk in that direction, if you are ready to learn from your experiences, be more spiritual in your challenges and your issues, be more spiritual even when you are learning, even when you are going through educational qualifications. Saturn place there may put a hindrance if you are not somebody who showcases the need to learn, to respect traditions, to respect seniority, to respect experience, and to be ready to serve the gurus, to serve those sources from whom you are learning. If not, then Saturn will give you more challenges in acquiring those learning, more challenges in acquiring that experience. If Saturn goes into an inimical sign, then it will be that much more difficult for you to get the higher learning and to have a very spiritual approach to learning. In fact, you may either not be able to use the learning which comes to you, even higher qualification, or you may not give importance to that learning, to that experience, and that could be a challenging issue for you, because Saturn will throw more challenges to you in your wake if you do that. Especially if Saturn goes into an inimical sign, Saturn goes into bad doshas, Saturn gets into a debilitated sign in the 9th house on the Navmansh chart. If Saturn goes into the 10th house in the D9 chart, in the Navmansh chart, the 10th house is about what are the sources of you to acquire wealth, resources. Where are your resources coming from? Sources of wealth that are coming from, sources of your remuneration coming from. Where is the moolah coming in? Where is the nourishment coming into you? Where is the zodiac giving you higher probability of getting that resources? So this is about that wealth which you are acquiring and also saving. So when Saturn goes into the 10th house, because it is related to your career, your karma, the wealth sources are getting connected to how much hard you work and in the direction of the sign energies of the 10th house, the 10th lord, and where it is placed in the D1 chart also. So the wealth sources are shown to you. However, when Saturn goes into the 10th house, it tells you that the wealth sources will be more rewarding to you if you stick to your principles, your values, you're organized in your effort, you're committed, you're disciplined, and you're ready to work hard to acquire those wealth sources, to acquire that wealth, and to work hard in your career, to work hard in your karma, and making your career as your karma. Especially when Saturn goes into the 10th house in your D9 chart, it's a very karmic placement. So this is the karmic placement where it tells you there is a lot of karma that is associated with your career also. So look beyond the wealth sources. Also look at doing more for others, even those sometimes who come to you in through your career who may not be able to give you that kind of remuneration, that kind of wealth, that kind of awards. Especially if Saturn goes into an inimical sign, then it may give you bigger challenges to be able to acquire wealth, to keep the wealth, to sustain the wealth. Especially if Saturn is in a bad dignity, in a bad dosha, or even if it's stability. When Saturn goes into the 11th house in the D9 chart, in the Navmansh chart, the 11th house is about social pressures, social challenges, social stigmas, social obstacles also, and social responsibilities. So Saturn going into the 11th house, Saturn says that I will give you higher probability of attaining more from society, from getting more social respect, social recognition, even mass adulation. If you are somebody who sticks to values, principles, you are very organized in your effort, you have a servitude attitude towards society, you have a servitude attitude toward the masses, you want to give back to society, you want to give back to masses, and whatever you do, you look at your aim is to do more for the larger multitude of people. Then Saturn relieves the pressure for you, Saturn relieves the punishment from you, Saturn relieves the sorrow that may come through the social pressure, the social challenges for you. Especially if Saturn is in a good dignity. However, if Saturn goes in a bad dignity, Saturn goes into a dosha, goes into a bad conjunction, Saturn goes into a debilitation sign, then Saturn will make it that much more harder for you to let go or to keep away from the social pressures, to keep away from the social harm, to keep away from the social punishment, the social stigma also. So be very careful if Saturn goes into the 11th house, especially if Saturn goes into bad dignity. When Saturn goes into the 12th house in the D9 chart, in the Navmansh chart, what does this mean? The 12th house of the D9 chart is about what you are ready to let go, what you are ready to give off, what you are ready to lose, what are you ready to distance yourself from, and through that you will be able to achieve your spiritual elevation. So this is the extra baggage that you are carrying, that you need to let go of, that you need to lose, that you need to detach yourself from, and that's why it is also the house of losses. So yeah, the bigger detachment that you do from the material senses, the material realms of life, the spiritual elevation becomes stronger and become more possible for you. So when Saturn goes into the 12th house, Saturn says, as much as possible detach yourself from the material realm, as much as possible do for others, give off to others who themselves are in pain, who themselves are destitute, and do it for the masses. Be more charitable, be more giving, and share the pain of others, share the challenges of others, and respect traditions, respect values, and do more for the senior people, the old people, those who may require the most help because they are also weak, they are not able to stand by themselves. So if Saturn goes into the 12th house, know that your social responsibility is to do more for others, but also the senior people, the older people also in your life, who are maybe in your family, who are in your surrounding, and who are around the neighborhood also, and in your society. Especially if Saturn goes in a good dignity, it will also help you to be able to overcome the losses, the challenges, and help you in your spiritual elevation by letting go of, making it easier for you to let go of the karmic debt, the karmic baggage, the material baggage. But if Saturn gets into a bad dignity, then Saturn will make you face larger challenges, larger problems, larger hard work, more hard work, bigger losses, and a higher detachment, almost bringing you to almost bringing to an instance where almost you may lose a lot of things, majority of things in life, and through that the karmic debt is exhaled from your body, exhaled from your existence. But through that there may be a higher spiritual elevation also. So it will be, if Saturn is a bad dignity, be prepared for higher losses, bigger bigger detachment in life to be able to rise to the spiritual elevation. So friends, now that we have talked about the placement of Saturn in the 12 houses in the D9 chart, in the Navmansh chart, understand which house Saturn is placed in your D9 chart, whether it is in good dignity, whether it is in strong signs, or whether it gets into bad dignity, into inimical sign, or inimical doshas or yogas, inimical conjunctions, or even if it gets debilitated, because that much more bigger challenges for you will be to be able to get stable results, to be able to get an organized, committed effort towards attainment of that house, and to be able to protect yourself from the challenges of that house. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me at the links given below. Till some other time with some other video, this is your friend astrologer and guide Irfan signing off. Ciao.